It's May 13th, and boy do I have news for you. I have the April California foreclosure report hot off the press from Foreclosure Radar. This typically doesn't come out in the press until the 15th of the month following the foreclosure month when Realty Track releases it to the press. Now we're going to get it early, guys. We're going to have a jump on everything going on out here. Foreclosure Radar was kind enough to get this to me early so I could do this report and get it up on my blog, so check it out. It's not good. Continuing, conditions are continuing to worsen. But before I get to that, I want to thank all the people coming onto my blog at ml-implode.com, the Mortgage Lender Implodometer. They've been there since day one covering this story. And, all of it's to help you. We want to get the story out there because it's so hard to find in the mainstream press. Someone needs to tell you the truth as homeowners, as mortgage holders. And that's what we're here to do, is tell you the truth. So anyway, the data I'm going to give you run in stark contrast to popular Wall Street Journal reports recently out by the managing partner of Traxxas, for example, by TrimTab's CEO, Charles Biederman, who's been making the circuit for the last 2 months, talking about how California real estate's really moving, when in fact it's really not. I mean, he said that at the same time he acknowledged that their portfolios went long financials and home builder stocks. Kind of coincidence there, huh? Also, other analysts trying desperately to call the bottom in housing for the past year. This report says quite the opposite. So, notice of defaults, which are pre-foreclosures, are up 2.6% over last month to 44,100. They were at 42,700 last month. This is the first step to foreclosure. 75% of these go to foreclosure auction, only 25% are cured. So let's look at that. We have 86,800 notices of default in the last 2 months. That means we're going to have 65,000 homes going into foreclosure auction in the next 2 to 3 months. Now that's going to all end up as inventory out there for sale, right? But you don't see that inventory because it's not listed. However, that's on top of homeowner inventory, which is mom and pa selling their house, builder inventory, and bank-owned shadow REO inventory that nobody has a handle on because it's so large. Remember, banks get back 97.5% of the homes that go to foreclosure auction. Okay, second, notice of trustee sale. Up 7.8% to a record high of 29,000 this month, or last month in April. Foreclosure stats set records across all categories last month, but records in this case are not good. These are issued roughly 90 days after the notice of default. So let's break this down here. In the past 4 months, there were 162,700 notices of default with a 25% cure rate. That leaves us with 122,000 units that are going to be slamming the California auctions in the next 4 to 5 months. Of those, the banks will get back 119,000 units. The bank-owned REO is the real threat to real estate values out there because they release it through a licensed real estate professional or through the real estate disposition corp type tent auctions where 1,000 homes go off at one time. These count as comparable sales if they're similar to yours in your neighborhood. We have a devaluation of America's real estate happening overnight, never before seen in history. Absolutely unique situation going on because usually home prices, when they fall slowly. When banks don't necessarily care about what they get and they can discount prices 30 to 70% overnight, that's going to affect you, and it's affecting towns and cities all over the nation, especially in the bubble states right now. This is the biggest risk to real estate, period. Foreclosure sales at auction, third category, jumped 44% to $9.9 billion, but don't let the press spin you. Keep in mind, this is only a function of how many homes went to foreclosure. Because if they don't sell to a consumer or somebody, they go back to the bank and the bank buys them. It's actually considered a purchase at auction. So essentially all homes are sold at auction, but 97.5 of them went back to the banks last month, which is the fourth category. 97.75 actually went back to the banks, so only 2.3% were bought by consumers. Now, if you saw that number go up, where banks took back less inventory and outside parties bought more inventory, that's a positive sign. That's clearing inventory, okay? Fourth, discounts were at a record pace. 84% of homes at auction were discounted by an average of 25%. Where 47% were discounted by at least 30% or more. That's the biggest number we've ever seen. And keep in mind, this 80% these discounts were typically taken off of an 80% loan-to-value first mortgage, right? So at the time the appraisal was done, they got a first mortgage of 80% of the value, and then that's being discounted by 30% or more. So you could say that the discounts off of the appraised value of these properties is 50 to 60% plus. You talk about bank write-downs. I don't think if they started writing down the true value, the mark-to-market value of their REO inventory yet. Okay, now for those of you who live and die by the monthly and existing new home sales report, because the inventory of foreclosures are going straight up, and DataQuick said last month that 38.4% of all existing home sales in California had foreclosure activity in the last 12 months, meaning they were most likely REO inventory. That's likely to push up the number a little bit. Everyone's going to say, great, existing homes are doing great! But that's not the case, because the inventories are ballooning. But you're not going to see that inventory because the NAR only reports listed inventory. It's this bank-owned REO inventory where 97.5% of auction inventory goes back to the banks. That's the shadow inventory that's coming in and slamming houses that you're not aware of because it's not listed. This is the big threat, and this is why the existing home sales numbers and the month's inventory used as a gauge, and that's our reports in the Wall Street Journal and by trim tabs, are absolutely worthless because they're not taking into consideration the full inventory that's out there available for sale. You got to look at the full inventory if you're going to look at the sales. What is also most frightening is the deep discounts, the 30 to 70% in the mark-to-market of entire neighborhoods overnight. So that's your foreclosure report. It's available on my blog right now at ml-implode.com. Click my head in that yellow star there and get to my blog. If you like this, please rate it 5 stars, man. I work for stars. Thank you very much. Also, if you are financial institutions looking for data on individual banks or lending institutions with the most exposure out here, the most REO or bank-owned or foreclosure activity, wiped out seconds completely due to the first mortgage taking it all and the discounts, give me an email. My email's on the site. Homeowners, homebuyers, and realtors, stay tuned. We have a new service coming out that's going to allow you to see the risk, the foreclosure risk surrounding a piece of property. Within a mile of the property where your value is determined, there's bank-owned REOs, there's notices of default, there's foreclosures going on that you need to know about. If you're going in to buy a home, you need to make sure you know all the risks in that neighborhood, the foreclosure risks, and we're going to show you that. Also, go onto my blog at ml-implode.com and sign up for my email alerts or my RSS feed. Then you can get this information current when I put it up. So there's your April California foreclosure news first. I insist on bringing you the no-spin news, no matter how bad it is, because it doesn't do you any good to always look at the glass half full like they try to do on a certain financial television station every day. You have to know the real facts. If not, it costs you money. And now you can see that the real facts for foreclosures aren't what many of the people have been saying they are over the past 60 days. For your daily mortgage and housing news, go to ml-implode.com and go to my site on ml-implode.com. Go to Foreclosure Radar. There's a link there on my site for your free monthly California housing foreclosure report. You can get that as well as the same one I get. You can also try out for their service. You get a free 3-day trial. If you're a real estate professional, you're looking to buy foreclosures, I think you'll really like it. Anyway, have a great day and don't believe the hype.